Good morning everyone. Basa na tayo natin libro guys. History of the Philippine People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 29 November 2022. History of the Filipino People, Part 2 pa rin tayo, the Spanish period. Topic number 6, continuation pa rin ito ha. Philippine Society under Spain. Paragraph, Religious Results. Basa. Religious results. There is no doubt that the establishment of Pax Hispanica in the Philippines was facilitated by the effort of the missionaries. The early missionaries followed the soldiers in the conquered territories where they remained to convert the natives to Christianity. During the first decades of Spanish rule, there were very few soldiers to maintain Spanish authority, but with the help of the missionaries who used their influence among a people who were receptive to their proselytizing, such scarcity in numbers did not present a serious problem. Legazpi, himself, in asking the king for help in the colonization of the Philippines, requested for more missionaries than soldiers. Morga, in attributing the first phase of settlement and colonization to the prior, said that in every prior in the Philippines, the king had a captain general and an entire army. Indeed, in many respects, the priors took upon themselves the task of preserving Spanish sovereignty. This was especially true during the last decades of Spanish rule. The Agustinians pioneered 1565 in the propagation of the faith. Years later, 1577, the Franciscans arrived to establish their own mission. They were followed by the Jesuits, 1581. And the Dominicans in 1587 and by the Recollects in 1606. The entire archipelago was apportioned among the different religious orders. The early missionaries learned the dialects of the people and introduced a highly church-oriented literature to supplant the native floating literature which they destroyed. They put out lexicographies of Philippine dialects, prayer books, and catechisms in both Spanish and the dialects. The use of the native languages facilitated the teaching of the gospel, but at the same time set the barrier of languages between the conquerors and the Filipinos. The Filipinos, on the other hand, converted easily to the new faith. The striking similarities between the pre-Spanish religion and Catholicism may have made the latter acceptable to the natives. Catholicism, however, did not entirely displace the pre-colonial religion. The priors not only failed to uproot the pagan superstitions, but they utilized them as a means of holding the natives to the practices of the new religion. Sinibaldo Dimas, in his suppressed volume on the state of the colony in 1842, pointed out that the priors allowed the continuance of witchcraft and other superstitions. Thus, rebel Catholic doctrine was not understood by the Filipinos, who saw little distinction between magic and the Catholic belief in miracles, idolatry, and the veneration of saints and images, superstitions, and certain Catholic rituals. Social results. The assimilation of Spanish cultural innovation proceeded at a remarkable pace The assimilation of Spanish cultural innovations proceeded at a remarkable pace, though in many instances the natives refused to cast off their indigenous cultural heritage and accommodated European art, literature, rituals, and practices. Only after some modification, one after another, the innovations were accepted by the people. They began to use the Gregorian calendar and the Western method of reckoning time. The Latin alphabet replaced this pre-Spanish syllabaries. The pre-colonial manner of dressing altered considerably in order to accommodate Spanish customs, as well as the new morality resulting from conversion to Catholicism, The Filipinos accepted the practice of burial in public cemeteries and embraced the idea of marriages performed in the Catholic Church. However, the Spaniards, deep racial prejudice interdicted legal intermarriage between the Spaniards and the natives, though it did not prevent miscegenation, which was usually initiated by the Spaniards. The offspring of such relations were called mestizos. Mestizo, mestiza. In 1849, Governor Narciso, doon ko naririnig yung mga ganyan, pagka half-breed. Yung mestizo, tsaka pag lalaki mestizo, tapos pag babae mestiza. In 1849, Governor Narciso Claveria issued a decree which contained thousands of Spanish family names from which the natives could choose their own surnames. Really? Pakinggan nyo guys, oh. In 1849, Governor Narciso Claveria issued a decree which contained thousands of Spanish family names from which the natives could choose their own surnames. So, ibig sabihin guys, namimili lang pala tayo ng surnames noong araw. Many natives adopted these surnames, which as a result expedited the identification of families and individuals for the purpose, among other things, of the parish, census, and taxation. Yet many natives preferred to retain their indigenous names like Liwayway, Bayani, Mabini, Manalo, Diwa, and Karunungan. The conversion to Christianity also meant the adoption of the fiesta. In its real and original context, the fiesta is a socio-religious event celebrating the feast day of the patron saint of a Catholic town in the Philippines, as well as in Spain and Latin America. A fiesta could also mean the celebration of the birthdays of kings and high government officials. The fiesta was a very costly affair, and the unwritten social obligation to provide a feast for friends and strangers alike, and the great temptation to avail of some of the attractions of the fiesta, like gambling and cockfighting, placed many Filipinos on the brink of bankruptcy at fiesta time. Still, the fiesta was a popular and enduring institution, for it provided the natives deemed that rare chance of renewing. Still, the fiesta was a popular and enduring institution, for it provided the natives a brief respite from the hard labors of the year and afforded them that rare chance of renewing acquaintances and friendships. As an institution, it was more religious than secular in content, since it was the undertaking of the whole town. In some districts, the fiesta, fully sanctioned by the church, provided the excellent opportunity for outbursts of pagan and certainly pre-colonial enthusiasm. Examples of this are the colorful Mariones and Ati-Atihan festivals. The Spaniards introduced Western architecture, which was modified by prevailing economic conditions as well as by availability of building materials in the colony. Cotas or fortresses, the most popular example of which is Intramuros, were familiar landmarks in coastal towns that had to be defended from Muslim piratical attacks. The churches central to every Philippine town and village were built in modified Romanesque style. The Spanish influence also played an important role in the evolution of the Spanish period or Atelian house, a happy amalgam of nipa hut architecture and a building style that may have originated from the Antilles in the Caribbean. In the 19th century, the Spaniards and the wealthy native made this style popular, building two-story residences made of stone and wood. These houses may be found in the cabecera or provincial capital, as well as in the poblacion or town proper. The malaking bahay, as these houses were called by the natives, usually lorded it over the ancient nipa huts. Majority of the natives still live in these ramshackle houses, not because the Antillean style had not caught up with them, but because of their poverty and destitution. Hanggang dito nilang muna guys, mahaba-haba itong cultural development. Bye everyone, God bless.